Kia ora. I just quickly want to discuss the basement door. So the door going from the downstairs cellar basement area of the Ben Hill Road home, that blue door, okay? And I just want to talk through, was it locked or unlocked? It's my belief it was unlocked. Now, Candace and Don clearly realised that it is not okay to leave their children alone in the home, so with no parental supervision, to leave boys 12, 11 and 9 or any combination of children. It's not okay. They've been told this by CPS most likely. And you can tell that they know it's wrong because they mention, well, when they're left alone, they're locked in the home, okay? This house that is a fire hazard, they wouldn't be able to get out if it caught fire through an electrical fault, for example, or if a fire came blazing up through the woods. And this is probably why the scrub clearance crews are there, you know, Davis Tree Company, etc. People like that are contracted to come and clear out underscrub, things like that, right? So the mindset is clearly they know they shouldn't do it, that they need to make some sort of arrangements when they're organising their day so that the boys aren't left alone. But their solution is, oh, shivers, well, we can't leave them alone, we'll lock them in. And clearly, if they were old enough to be left alone, you wouldn't need to lock them in. You know, they'd be responsible, they would be capable and old enough to be left alone. In New Zealand, the recommended age is 14. And majority of parents would follow that dictate or whatever, okay? So when Candace and Don have both left Ben Hill Road, Candace is with Candy and with Summer. We're not sure if Don is with the children. So, okay, imagine Don has left with the boys, all 3 boys. Does he check the basement door is locked before he goes out the kitchen door and locks that, and the house is locked up, so that when delivering boys home, he can just let them in the kitchen door and feel that the basement door is locked, okay? And so he just needs to lock the kitchen door if he's locking them in again, right? Did Candace not check the basement door when she got home with Summer and Candy because, well, the boys were locked in, so therefore the basement door should be locked? But what if at some point the boys have unlocked this door? Is this why Don is holding his boy there sort of in his accountability in this first interview? So you've got maybe boys being left there. They can still just decide to go out that back basement door. They might not want to climb up the stairs to go outside through the kitchen door. They'll just unlock it. Who cares what mum and dad say, right? This is kids. They're going to do it. If it's not dead-bolted from the outside or deadlocked from the outside, and it seemed to be lockable just from the inside, lockable from the inside. So I feel like whatever happens, I'm not describing this well. I know I can think through all the scenarios and say, okay, well, if the boys weren't there, was it locked? If they were there, was it locked? When was it unlocked? They've built, you know, they're trying to act like they never use this door, but, you know, Summer's sitting out there often and she runs up and around to the swing. So there's plenty of opportunity for this door to be either forgotten to be locked when leaving, assuming another parent is locking it, doing the check, or just that it's unlocked by someone in the home and the parents aren't aware of that and don't check. That door has this tin shade built over it, right? It's used often enough that there's a shelter from the sun and the rain for someone stepping in and out. There's a little concrete slab there, and there's the little roof there. And, Don probably is popping in and out to smoke his vape or his cigarettes. Candy's probably popping out there to smoke during the day or night, That door could be left unlocked at any time, and I wager it was. All this talk about, oh no, it was locked. We've had conflicting information from different people, sometimes the same person, about whether this door is locked or not. And it's it is understandable, because from the point of view of a parent who's lost a child and you're feeling so guilty and so judged, and because let's face it, no parent is going to be able to 100% protect any child from this sort of thing, right? And so you're going to feel like your every move, you need to make it perfect. This is what Candace is doing. She's turned into this immaculate mother whose every, parenting move is perfect. She's completely attentive, watchful, thoughtful. And we know this just can't be the case. I mean, we know with Candace it's not the case, but you can understand her motivation to paint herself in that light, because it's an extraordinarily intense situation to be in. Where there's so much vulnerability around, when people will judge things that they are going to do themselves, right? Well, the door wasn't locked. It wasn't, nothing, was checked. It was forgotten. I wasn't cautious enough this one time, I've got so many instances in my life where, this one time. Yeah. And being vigilant, being responsible so you don't trip yourself up. It's an attitude, it's a mindset, it's a habit. And so many things affect our ability to protect ourselves and the people that are dependent upon us. Whether it is just through being distracted from selfishly wanting to do other things and being lazy, or just being frazzled and not sticking to routine, whatever it is, right? So obviously Don and Candace are going to want to be sure to tell us, oh no, this door, it was locked. But of course they trap themselves with the fact that there's only the kitchen door now, unless there's windows being climbed in and out, right? I mean, there's scaffolding leaning up against the house to lounge room height. So who knows? But no one's mentioned that any windows look damaged, or that, there's nothing strange like that, right? So I don't know. I feel like definitely 100% the door's been left unlocked. Were the boys home at one point alone? Have they unlocked it? And they're having a whole lot of blame game laid on them, because I think this is the name of the game when it comes to Don Wells particularly. I mean, right at the very start, when Summer was reported missing, I think on June the 16th, I was looking into this because it was on my radar immediately, like all the cases that I cover usually. And you can see on Google, the first thing I do is look on Google Earth. You see the abandoned sheds in between Beach Creek Road, and not on the property, but it's a very bizarre little piece of land. And I was wondering if this is where the squatters were. I'm not sure though, but that could be 2 acres that they've purchased off someone, or I don't know. It's all very convoluted, the story about the creepers. We've talked here about Candace exploiting or exposing Summer on TikToks and on Facebook. And this has put her in danger, you know, because it's showing people Summer. I can see that Summer would create an obsession in the right kind of sicko, right? And they could work out where she lives, and they could, yes, come up through the trees and steal her away. It certainly is possible, okay? And it's trying to work out, you know what? I mean, you can say things are likely, but or not likely. If it's only possible with a 1% chance, well, you know, that 1% comes from somewhere, doesn't it? It happens, doesn't it? And it could be the case now with Summer. But did it, you know, did it? Because those dogs are going to bark. The boys, would they look out the lounge room window? There's still quite the piece of land going down the open grass area if they were quick enough to look. But I guess, you know, they're over on that side looking out over the swing, not the basement door. Would they see? Would they pay attention? I think if someone was lurking there, even if the dogs got used to them a little bit and stopped for a while, they would coagulate nearly around that bus, around that area someone was hiding, and they would arc up every time that person moved, every time that person lit a cigarette, or shuffled their feet, or got a new position, or opened their knapsack, you know. It would be extreme. It would be noticeable that someone was there, okay? These dogs are working like a unit. They're acknowledging Candace and Don as the alpha. That's what they're barking for. You see, dogs that bark, they are saying, hey, 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 hey. Come here, alpha. Come here, decision maker. I'm telling you, something's going on. Come tell me what to do. Okay? Okay, that's a barking dog. Or that, you know, sometimes it's aggressive, sometimes it's just yappy, but they're getting something out. Usually they're just communicating for someone to come, okay, the alpha to come, or they're alerting the pack, you know, be aware, be aware. And sometimes it just becomes this thing to amuse themselves or to entertain themselves or to take up space, or it's an anxiety expression. But, you know, the dogs you need to be cautious of are the silent ones, the ones that are growling, okay, and raising the lip, and they're looking you in the eye, and they're moving a certain way. And it's where they hold their tail. It's everything. It's not, you know, wagging tail. That's not always, friendly's wagging the tail. They communicate about how high it's being held, how fast it's being moved, all the other body language that's going on. They are showing their status. They're showing their confusion or insecurity, their friendliness, playfulness, danger, okay? And the growling or the silent dog is the motherfucker that you've got to look out for, because that's the one that is going to attack you. But a barking dog that is barking to alert, and there's a pack of them, they're going to keep doing it, okay? They don't just go, okay, that's all right, he's all right, we're morons, he's been here 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 hours, so I guess he belongs here. They know who belongs and who doesn't. So this was, you know, a very quick snatch. Could someone possibly run up out of the trees or up the driveway? If the chain wasn't put across when Candace left, I'd say she did do it maybe. So, you know, they can't just quickly drive up. They have to take the chain down, so they'd have to go up on foot. Look, it's all possible. The dogs would know, and I think the dogs would chase. They would have had to obviously stop Summer from screaming out, because she would. an SUV vehicle could drive silently up that driveway. It could creep up. You know, it's not going to struggle like an old truck or other utility vehicle or anything like that, is it? So that could silently go up to the back door, because you reach the back door before anything else, but there's still a little view of that part of the driveway before it hides. Candace and Candy would have to be conked out, and the boys completely mesmerized and focused on the video games, etc. And if little Summer's downstairs, yeah, she can go outside, she could go to a swing, and she could be snatched from that. Now, who's going to do this, you know? We do have people from church. We've got Dotson saying he has no idea where they lived. It's probably easy enough to find out. There's all sorts of scumbuckets who use that address for their mail. It's like some sort of racket, isn't it? You know, just like we saw with the Wests. So there's plenty of people that are aware of the property, that are in and around that East Tennessee area and even out of state. If they had an obsession or the mind to just, hey, go after Summer, could it be revenge for something, right? And hit Don where it hurts. Absolutely, right? But I don't know how many of these things are still falling into that 1 percentile. I don't know. I think the door was unlocked. I think it's likely that if someone was there and alive and down in the basement, that she could have gone out the basement door. She could have run down to the tree line. She could have investigated what the dogs were barking at. She could have played on her swing. She could have had an accident on her swing. She could have been left in the car. She could have been hurt in the water somehow and had issues later. She could have been passed off to someone after that 309 image was taken. You know, someone at that Blair's Gap Road area, right? Near Solomon's temple, okay? So anything is possible. It's just how do investigators work out what has happened. And all too often in these cases, you know, I think law enforcement must have their strong idea and no one is found. The lost is not found for decades or ever. And it's extremely sad. For, you know, and especially a little girl or a little boy alone in death like that, abandoned and with no one to be able to visit anywhere and have that process for the person to remember the dead and to be honoured and included in the survivors' lives. You know, that's a very hard thing. Speak to you later.